Let July be July. Let August be August. And let yourself just be. Even in the uncertainty, you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to solve everything. And you can still find peace and grow in the wild of changing things. From Morgan Harper Nichols. Well, hey there, besties. Welcome back. It is time to set up our August cover page in the bullet journal. And would you look at that? Oh my god, she did some art! What who'd have thunk? The pain levels from the last 2 days have been reasonable enough that I actually felt like I could do a little bit of drawing. Not to mention, I ordered some cool bookish stickers from a few Etsy shops, and one of them had this as their packaging. And I said, okay, inspiration received. We're gonna go with a little bookshelf windowsill looking out onto the fantasy world moment, and I'm stoked about it. So let's get going, shall we? So this little postcard on the right is just the thank you card that came in my order from Meggie Moose, which is one of the sticker shops that I used. I will link them below in case you are curious and want to check them out. And I just loved the kind of rose gold pink tones of this. It felt very like early sunset, which feels very summer. So August is still dead of summer, especially out here in the desert, but it just takes us into this latter half of the year as we're approaching autumn, that it gives me those like starting to go into the pink tones of sunset vibes, so that when September and October roll around, we are going into darkness, we are going into spooky. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So I let that inspiration take me, and this is the first time I've created art like this in my journal. A lot of the times I'm doing some very minimal, simple kind of celestial scape. And don't worry, there's already a few stars on this page. We are looking out of a window at some clouds over the mountains. This will have a celestial vibe for sure. Is it my journal if it doesn't have at least one star on the page? I don't think so. So, but I am pretty pleased with myself that I was feeling well enough yesterday to kind of sit down and sketch this out, and I was getting really excited of like, okay, let's go. I want to do the inking so I can have the black lines and like consider whether or not I want to put any color in. And if you know, you know, I do love me a metallic ink. So we're going to be leaning into the copper rose gold tones for this bad boy. So I'm excited to show you. This first section is just me going over everything with the black pen. I use my Sharpie S gel pen for the windowsill and the window arch itself, and then we're using the Micron fine liner. Oop, tea break. Having a little Earl Grey with bergamot oil, the real oil of bergamot, which I didn't know was in the citrus family until recently when I looked that up. It doesn't give me the like overwhelming citrus taste, but it does give me some sort of like botanical flavor that is just delicious in the tea. Anyway, I fully interrupted myself and now I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, right. Okay, we're doing two line widths. We did the Sharpie pen for the actual windowsill shelf and the window arch outline itself, and then the Micron pen for the books and everything else, just so the line weight is like a little bit thinner down here. And I used the books from the postcard as inspiration and then just decided how I wanted the spines to look. Just kind of went through and decorated them randomly, put a few stars on a few, the like kind of edge banding on the backs, and then a few of them have vines. And of course, as you can see, there is already a little star sculpture sitting on the book stack. And then we've got what I'm calling an ink pot. Sure, it's either a fancy perfume bottle or it's a fancy little like vial of ink, and that's sitting on the lower right side. But yeah, I think my mountains look pretty good. The clouds are kind of just like basic, wispy, whatever, but I think they look fairly nice. I'm having to be careful going back in with my eraser because I have learned that if I erase too quickly, I will smudge the ink before it has fully dried into the paper. And honestly, waiting for the ink to dry so that I can go back and erase the pencil marks that I can still see is like, why is that the hardest thing I've ever done? If I were in the Olympics of just drawing on paper with black ink over pencil, I would fail out every single time because I can't seem to wait long enough to go back and erase my marks without actually causing any smearing. Anyway, okay, but do those book spines not look phenomenal? I am genuinely impressed with myself, okay? It has been quite a while since I have had the energy resources to sit and draw something from scratch with any level of detail. I'm feeling really pleased with myself, very proud, and your girl would not be doing a little fantasy bookshelf window if there wasn't also a shiny dragon. This is a little pack of stickers that I got from a different artist on Etsy, and they are actually black hollow, so they have little stars within the dragon design itself. I will show them closer to the camera in a bit, but they just shine and it's beautiful, and the hollow is mwah, 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 so perfect. And this is me trying to decide whether or not I want to use all three or if I want to save a few for my reading journal and just use the one out the window, which is what I decided to go with. And I will go ahead and tell you that I did spare you from like an unnecessary amount of extra footage of me just moving this small little dragon sticker like micro millimeters, trying to figure out exactly where I wanted to place it. So you're welcome. This video is not an extra hour in length where I'm just sitting there like, little to the left, no, little to the right, no, back to the left, nope, slightly up, slightly down. Okay, now we're back where we started. Anywho, enter the metallic rose gold copper pen. Let's go! And you guys don't see me bring this pen out very often because I am often using her sister, the gold, the straight up yellow gold, because that is my, that is my life, that is my heart, that is my soul, that is my gender identity. So I am not often reaching for the coppers and the rose golds, but I thought this really worked for this one, especially with the postcard that I'm going to be putting on the page adjacent. Love that. It's going to look beautiful with the pink tones, the pink and purple tones. We're going with that early sunset vibe. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, this was fun. This was nice. And if you saw a moment ago, I did have I gave myself a little handbrake because even though when we started this project yesterday, the pain levels were doing well, today, in terms of filming, my hands were struggling a little bit, so I did give myself breaks as necessary. And the only coloring I decided to do was just the window frame itself, a few details on the book spines, on the shelf itself, and then the actual window sill. So I think that works. I think it matches the washi tape edging that I put on the edge. And if you are new to this space, I always put a piece of washi tape, metallic washi tape, on the edge of the paper. So it starts on one side and then I flip it over and roll it over to the other side. So the literal edge of the sheet has that metallic coloring to it. There you go. Look at that dragon. Look at those stars. Ooh, look at the black hollow. Yeah. I do that with the washi tape so that when my journal is closed, I can always see where the start of a month is. And you may also have noticed I have my tabs in here for the very first time in my most recent video of some new things I got from Archer and Olive. I purchased their vinyl tabs for the first time. They had stars on them, so I couldn't say no. And I'm actually trying this out, even though I already do a version of tabbing the beginning of my months, I just figured, man, let's try this. Let's see how we feel. Okay, does that not look freaking cute? I love it. I'm actually really pleased. I'm actually slightly sad that I didn't like do this on a separate piece of paper to stick in so that I could then like remove it and frame it and put it on my wall. But I guess I will just have to draw another one. I like it so much that I would like to actually hang on to it and see it. Okay, so this is the part where we take the maximalism of drawing something from scratch and pair it with the minimalism of, girl, just type it out in Canva and then print it on some sticker paper, okay? we are no stranger to stickers, to tapes, to using a stencil, using whatever we need. And after drawing this window image from scratch, I just needed to make everything else a little easier to do on this page. So I pasted in the postcard that I got. So we've got all of these books on the right. We just created a sticker. I just did the word August in a font that I thought was cute. And then I had some copper foil star stickers that I decided to just add at the last moment. And here we go. I'm really pleased. I think this looks really cute. Okay, moving on, dear friends. The pain chart. Let's go. I have already set up a few things prior to filming this section, which was cutting my pages down to the size that I needed, putting the washi tape on the edges so that I can always find them, and pasting in my graph paper, which I'm still using the same little like 100-sheet notebook thing that I bought several years ago, and I only use 1 sheet per month, so I still have, I don't know, like another year and a half's worth of paper in there. So for $5, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. And I just paste that in. I have a really pretty like pink purple watercolor with rose gold foiling washi tape on the right edge that I thought just worked with the little postcard with the books, goes with the whole kind of like sunset fantasy out the window vibe. We're loving it. We're living. So this is the part where I am setting up the symptoms that I'm going to be tracking for the month of August. I always refer back to the previous month so that I can see what worked for me, what didn't, is there anything that I want to change, and this basic container is what stays the same. I always have the days of the month across the top, 1 through 31 for August. The top section is for my general pain level if I were to assign a number to it for that whole day. That's where the Mankowski pain scale for chronic pain comes in between my little this is fine fire buddy on the side. I use that to refer so I can assign a number up at the top, and then in each of the sections below I am tracking my mood, I'm tracking my sleep, we're tracking fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, lower back pain, pelvic pain, nerve lightening, and the prevalence thereof. That middle section, I'm tracking how low, mid, or high the pain was for that particular day. So at the end of the month, I can see sort of a trend line of how bad those things were or how good they might have been. And then the very bottom section is symptoms that I'm tracking of just if they're showing up or not. However, something I did recently change was for a few of the lower ones, because I'm just running out of paper at this point. I do put an L, an M, or an H for low, mid, or high for some of those when they show up. And that is how I track my pain. Feel free to look back at any of my previous videos if you want to see those. I do have a Q1 pain review where I show January through March. Still working on the one for Q2. And you can take a look at those, get some inspiration if that's helpful for you, and you have your own symptoms that you want to track, or even if it's just health, diet, etc. It doesn't have to be pain necessarily, but this is something that I've been doing for the last 5 years, and it's very helpful for me. And wow, what a ride! I am so stoked with how this turned up. And here you go, you can see the little tabs that I put in for July and August. We'll see how I feel about them. I will go ahead and tell you, do not freshly lotion your hands and then go to touch those tabs, because the metallic foiling for the letters and the stars will slide right off, and then your tab will be just naked. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this month's setup. Please let me know what kind of fantastical scene you would see out your own bookshelf window, and I hope that you are taking really good care of yourselves. The world is mad, but we can be madder. Have a magical day.